Have you ever felt that sudden jolt in your chest? That quickening pulse when you think about something that scares you? It could be the thought of public speaking, a difficult conversation, or even just checking your email inbox. This feeling is a natural human response. It's your brain's ancient alarm system trying its very best to keep you safe from perceived danger. But sometimes, this alarm gets a little too sensitive. It starts ringing loudly not just for real threats, but for imagined ones too. This is where fear can begin to feel overwhelming, pushing you towards a state we all want to avoid: panic. Understanding this process is the very first step toward changing your relationship with fear. Panic isn't a sign of weakness. It's simply the result of an old habit loop that has been running on autopilot for a long time. The trigger, a fearful thought, leads to a behavior, like avoidance or worry, which then gives a reward, usually just temporary relief. The problem is, this temporary relief only reinforces the fear in the long run. It teaches your brain that the only way to feel safe is to run away, making the fear bigger and more powerful each time you do it. We are simply caught in a cycle that we didn't consciously create. The good news is that you have the power to gently interrupt this cycle. You don't need to fight your fear or force it to go away. In fact, fighting it often makes it stronger, like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Instead, we can learn to work with our minds, to meet fear with a sense of calm curiosity rather than resistance. This essay will guide you through a simple, step-by-step process to do just that. The first step is perhaps the simplest, yet it is profoundly powerful. It is the practice of just noticing. When that familiar wave of fear begins to rise, your only task is to recognize that it is there. You don't need to analyze it, fix it, or push it away. Just mentally say to yourself, there's that feeling of fear. Or, I'm noticing tightness in my chest. This simple act of naming the experience creates a small but crucial space between you and the feeling. You are no longer lost inside the fear. You are the one who is observing it. Think of it like noticing clouds in the sky. You see a dark, stormy-looking cloud approaching. You don't try to fight the cloud or command it to leave. You simply observe it. There's a dark cloud. Let's imagine you have a fear of speaking up in meetings. As your turn to speak approaches, you feel your heart start to pound. The new practice is to simply notice. Heart is beating fast. I feel a knot in my stomach. Okay. Once you have noticed the fear, the next step is to ground yourself in the present moment. Your mind will want to race into the future, spinning tales of what might go wrong. The most reliable and instantly accessible tool to bring yourself back is your own breath. By turning your attention to it, you give your mind a stable anchor to hold on to amidst the turbulent waves of anxiety. This isn't about taking a special kind of breath to force calmness. It's about paying attention to the breath you already have. Gently bring your awareness to the feeling of the air entering your nostrils. Notice the coolness as you inhale. Then, follow the breath as it leaves your body, noticing the warmth as you exhale. You can feel the subtle rise and fall of your chest or belly. If your mind wanders off into worried thoughts, which it will, that's perfectly okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Just gently and kindly guide your attention back to the sensation of breathing. For example, let's say you're feeling anxious about an upcoming flight. You've noticed the fear arise. Now, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze and tune into your breath. Feel the chair supporting you. Feel your feet flat on the floor. And just breathe. You are creating a small island of calm in the middle of the storm. This practice does something remarkable in your brain. It helps to deactivate the amygdala and activates the prefrontal cortex, shifting you from a reactive, panicked state to a more responsive, clear-headed one. Now that you've noticed the fear and anchored yourself with your breath, you're in a much better position to engage with your thoughts skillfully. The old habit was to believe every scary story your mind told you, but the new practice is to get curious about those stories. Curiosity is kind of a superpower. It's naturally rewarding and feels way better than worry. So instead of taking your anxious thoughts as absolute truth, you can start to question them gently. Let's go back to that public speaking example. Maybe your mind is screaming, "Everyone will think I'm an idiot. I'm going to forget everything I want to say." Instead of getting swept away, you can bring in curiosity. Is it really true that everyone will think I'm an idiot? Probably not. Have I ever forgotten everything before? No, not really. This isn't about arguing with yourself. It's about gently loosening the grip of the negative story by seeing that it's just one possible story, not an established fact. You might shift your focus from fear of judgment to your intention. What is my goal here? My goal is to share this information because I think it's helpful. Now, this one is about bringing that newfound calm into the outer world. The key is to take one very small, manageable step in the direction of your fear. So if you're afraid of social situations, a tiny step might not be going to a huge party. It might be as small as making eye contact and smiling at the cashier. Every time you successfully notice your fear, breathe through it, get curious, and take a tiny step, you absolutely must acknowledge it. This is how you hack your brain's reward system. The old reward was temporary relief of avoidance. The new reward is the genuine good feeling of having been courageous. You're creating a new habit loop trigger, fearful situation, behavior, notice, breathe, act, reward, the feeling of empowerment and self-kindness. Over time, this new, healthier loop will become stronger than the old panic loop. It's really a journey of 1,000 tiny celebrated steps, not one giant leap. So be patient, be kind to yourself, and remember that every small act of courage is a victory worth celebrating.